I just want to say the fucking sunlight just came out. I'm fucking majestic right now. Oh my god, so I am here to film a review for Scarlet by A.C. Gorgon, and I do know I haven't done a Traitor to the Throne or Hero at the Fall review, but I need to talk about this right now. I have my thoughts. I just finished it the other day. By the other day, I mean on Sunday, but I need to talk about this book. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. It was horrible. If you're gonna read it, I really suggest you don't, and there's also gonna be no spoilers in this. You can watch the whole entire rant here. I just can't get over how nice this is, but it's like blinding me. I'm like, ugh. I really need to get my thoughts out about this book, so let's do it. Guys, I have a lot. We'll try and get through it. So, this book was so bad that it actually became funny, and I was just looking for the next stupid thing that was gonna happen, and it was gonna make me laugh. I don't feel angry about this book in like a really serious way. Like, it's hilarious how bad it was to me. Like, I feel it's all in good fun. It's not like it's gonna get a good rating from me though with 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5. It's in like the bottom 40% of my reading. Like, honestly, yeah, I can't with this book, but I'm just excited to talk about it. Also, I buddy read this with Erin Reads. I think she just changed her YouTube channel name though to My Life as Erina though, so it's Erin Reads on Instagram still, but I had fun reading it with her. But I read this book in 2 days because I had to get through it. It was so bad I had to finish it, and she has only read a couple of chapters, so I'm here for her to vent. But it's going to be really funny if she actually really likes this book, and I'll be like, what? But yeah, we're having fun reading this together even though I've already finished it. But let's get into it. First thing is the writing. Oh my god, it was so bad that it physically hurt my eyes to read this. And like, the book was somehow in past and present tense, and it changed from sentence to sentence, and there was weird slang that didn't make sense, and the way that Scarlet would talk, and she doesn't even use proper English, but all the guys know how to speak English and they're all ghetto, and she's all like, oh my god, and I'm just like, ugh. I couldn't. I like read the first chapter and I remember just going to Erin, I can't, the writing is so hard to understand, and she read the first chapter and she was just like, oh, she knows how I feel about this book, making her not want to read this, but honestly. Another thing is how Scarlet clearly knows what's going on, but she doesn't want to tell us until it's like convenient for the story and for the plot to be all like, oh, this is the big reveal. We're meant to be so shocked by it. But honestly, if you keep hinting at it so clearly and so stupidly that we're like clearly gonna figure it out by chapter 2, which was me, I pretty much had all of the story down packed at chapter 2. There was one thing that sort of shocked me a little bit, but it wasn't even an important thing, and it was just like, come on, really? This really irritates me when a book can't do this smoothly. It's more about holding back information and not actually having a really good reveal of a story, because books that make me shocked and I don't see things coming are the best out there. They did such a good job hiding these things, and if you reread the books then you can actually pick up on things that you were like, how did I not see that? Like, there's so many books like that I have reread and I was just like, oh my god, it just clearly fucking said it right there. But this book clearly said it and I figured it out, and I was just like, what? So Scarlet as a main character was kind of very annoying. There's nothing unique about her, and she's just, you know, the I'm so kick-ass main character who never really does anything. All she does is steal from people and like maybe punch them up a bit, but she doesn't want to kill people because, oh, I've got moral. There's a moral. I don't want to kill people even though I steal from them. But something that really annoyed me is she hates that she is a girl. She hates that she was born a girl and has to pretend to be a boy, and that's just not on. We don't want girl hate. We don't want girls hating themselves. They need to accept themselves and know that they have to pretend to be a boy to protect themselves. But she's all like, oh, I hate it. I'm just like, get over it. And she also runs away from like every fucking situation and climbs up a tree, and it's just like, what? Next thing is, how can someone physically blush so many times? I don't know how it's possible that it was literally once a page that she's all like, oh, I just blushed because the male just showed me like a little bit of attention. Oh, I blushed again. Oh, I hope this shadow from the tree hides my blush because he's going to see how I feel. Can you think of anything other than blushed? And you know, if you say something enough times, it starts to lose its meaning. It was practically like every word of this book. The blushing thing doesn't always annoy me, but it's like the biting the lip thing where it's just like, oh, I bit my lip because he looked at me, and it's just like, no. Just no. The plot was basically nothing in this book, so if you're gonna read it, there's basically nothing happening. Like, they steal, so what? What is the purpose of you stealing? You never explain it to us. Just because you're Robin Hood, that's meant to explain it to us. It's a retelling, but you still need to explain in much more detail. And if this book was longer than 287 pages, because that's how long I died for, it would have been so much better to have it expanded on and have a better plot and a better story. And if this author actually took it much further, I would have loved this story, but it was just right under here, down the bottom of the scale. I wanted it to be up here, it's like down here. It's really annoying. Now, the love triangle, if all that shit wasn't enough, there is a fucking love triangle and it's stupid. We've got Scarlet, Rob, who is Robin Hood, and John, who is Little John. They're in the love triangle together. No, Scarlet is in love with Rob, but doesn't think she's good enough, and John is like a player and he's with a new chick each night, and then he sets his sight on Scarlet. Scarlet doesn't like John, but he keeps trying to go with her, but she's like, nah bitch, I don't want you. And then Scarlet thinks she can settle for John because Rob doesn't want her, and just what the actual fuck? She clearly doesn't love John, and he keeps trying, and she clearly loves Rob, and he's just an asshole. Like, I don't ship her with any character in this book, and it's so annoying. And Rob gets angry at Scarlet for leading John on when she doesn't even care. And when she tells him that, he's like, oh, well then you're a whore. And I'm like, oh nah. Oh nah, because you don't get angry at John because he's a man, but Scarlet you gotta yell at because she's a female, so it's practically slut-shaming without it being slut-shaming, because if we don't call it anything, it's not actually a shaming thing. But really, it was kind of sexist, it was kind of really horrifying, and I really hated that he called her a whore. Like, actually called her a whore. And the villain was so two-dimensional that he had no purpose or point or anything to me. There was no depth, there was no understanding really why he's the way he is. Like, I don't get it. Like, you're an asshole. Who gives a shit? Like, good for you. You're an asshole. You want revenge. You want to be a good chap. You have some ideas of what to do, but there was no point, so it's not really like you're a good villain because there's no reason. You're just there to add to the story. But villains should be their own thing. They shouldn't be just plot devices. They need to be actually incorporated characters. This guy was not. And another thing that really irritated me is Scarlet doesn't eat. Like, honestly, she never eats anything. And I seriously hate it when books do this, but she never feels hungry, and she always talks about how she doesn't feel hungry. Then she eats one mouthful of the meat pie and then throws it up because she doesn't feel hungry, and then she doesn't eat for a week, and I just hated it. People need food, and that was the most unrealistic thing I've ever seen in a book. Most of the time, if books don't want to be, you know, oh, they went to the bathroom, then they walked downstairs, and then they got food, and then they walked back upstairs and watched TV. If they want to get rid of all that boring filter, don't mention it. But don't have a character keep going, oh, I'm not hungry and all the other people should eat food and I'm good. I haven't eaten since last month and I'm good. Like, don't do that. That is just not on. The character Much, his name is Much. It's a bit odd because they do use the word much a lot in this book, but his name's Much. Don't get it, but he was the best damn thing about this book, and he got his own star because this book would have been 1 star if he didn't exist. He was actually adorable and he cares so much about people, but I hate the way John treats him. Much lost his hand because the sheriff cut it off when he caught him for stealing, and he feels really self-conscious about it, and he most of the time he can't help them with things, and John's always jabbing and teasing him about it, and it makes Much so sad, and it makes me so sad that there's just this one pure character and they're fucking teasing him, and it's just like, can you not? Like, I don't want you bullying my favourite beau, man. Why? I have a lot of notes here about the actual ending of the book, but we don't want to mention that. I really do think this has been spoiler free. Like, I am talking about all the key points, but there's a lot of stuff that does happen at the end that I could bitch to you about for days, but I'm not going to. So hopefully this does give you an idea of the story, but again, there's not really that much plot to actually spoil. But yeah, so those were the main things that annoyed me. There's probably other things that annoyed me in this book, but I just couldn't think of them at the time. And I remember at work I was stewing, I'm sitting there going, I'm gonna write some fucking good review here because this book was shit. I just can't believe AC Gorgon, Reign the Earth. Reign the Earth I am predicting is gonna be my favourite book of 2018. Probably the least favourite, but maybe. It does tie with The Cruel Prince because, I mean, I just filmed the Top 5 Tuesday video, but this will probably get uploaded a couple of days after that. So it's a bit of a time span for you, but it's right in the moment for me. But I couldn't believe it. But I still think I kind of want to read the sequels though, because I want to see what else like is gonna happen, like what bad shit's gonna go down. Because this book, again, it's so bad. It's funny. It's actually comical reading this book and being like, lol, it's stupid. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this view. I hope you don't want to read this book because it's not worth it. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!